Okay, so to give a clear definition, uh, I've been doing desperate things my whole life because nothing works. Okay, I need to be a successful person for there not to be war and terrorism. This is the fundamental, and I'm pretty sure I made that clear like a long time ago. Okay, so every time people say no, we don't want a George Washington, we'd rather have war and terrorism and school shootings. Okay, they're just saying, please cleanse, please just cleanse us the dirty way like Hitler did. Okay, and what Hitler said was that he was going to do general cleansing. Okay, so there were people who were inbred and mentally retarded, and it was like family inherited stuff. And the Jewish people, like myself, to a certain degree, supported that. Okay, they're like, awesome, we need to be cleansed. We don't want to do it. You do the dirty work. Hitler with the little sister. Okay, and they said, yeah, if we make you struggle, will that help? The hostile takeover. Oh yeah, that would be great. Okay, so I've made my desperate behavior, tone, etc. clear for a long time, and that it's toxic. Struggle is toxic unless if someone is mentally retarded. Okay, in which case it's natural. It's their you know, and it's never about violence or about liquidation, but about giving people the right jobs. Okay. That we can save people, we can have world peace and prosperity. Technology is now utterly feasible, but it was also utterly feasible when George Washington was a man. GPS allowed you to go anywhere in the world. Okay, and they allowed you to do that. You can do that now. Okay, they allow anyone to go anywhere. Okay, terrorists can go anywhere. Okay, and we can stimulate it with the media, or simply by excluding the George Washington, simply saying, we'd rather have a war, we'd rather have genocide, we'd rather have chemical weapons than George Washington, who had a little sister. Okay, what happened with Hitler is that he was saying, I will cleanse this place that has been destroyed after World War I. Okay, that in the Great War, where Woodrow Wilson, who had a big sister, or two, we don't know, in the Great War, the most desirable people were destroyed. Okay? It was the Holocaust of the intelligent people, which incidentally the media always just goes, oh, once the rules are gone, we just freaking roll around in crap. Okay. And destroy the environment. Okay? And create enough noise so that people who could learn to save the environment won't be able to learn. They'll be just distractions. They say, George Washington, no, how about noise? How about we wage war continually against intelligence? Okay, so what would happen in World War II? Hitler said the undesirables, we're gonna make, I don't know, Braunschweiger or something like that out of them. And this was an act of desperation. Okay, forget about the struggle. No, he was doing a desperate thing, just like the terrorists who shoots up the school. And you don't believe it's terrorism? It's red state. Okay, Sandy Hook is a blue state. Colorado, I don't know. Nominally, we're in the gray area there. Okay, it's like saying if only Sherlock Holmes was in Syria watching with the Joker, everything would be hunky-dory. Wouldn't that be cute? If only we had Charlie Chaplin's mustache to lead us with all that fun, Okay? So, I think if you attack intelligent people in any way that you're sort of saying, oh, I wish we had a Fuhrer to cleanse us. Like, oh, that's the way it should happen. You know, smoldering garbage instead of using the finest fuel in the finest lens that we can see heaven with, okay? That enlightens the entire universe morally, psychologically, politically, but, you know, economically, industrially, you know, having the highest state of technological development without any sort of idiotic ignorance. You know, saying that George Washington cannot be virtually assumed. You cannot have a virtual representation of George Washington. That's what I'm doing right now. I mean, I can virtually represent myself. Yes, absolutely. But if I'm doing it without omnipresent responsibility, then it is the media who is saying no to world peace, no to peace at all, the whole thing, okay? Instead, they're saying, oh, if we only had a Fuhrer, if we only had a terrorist who come here and just, you know, randomly do horrible things, okay? And this is like Charlie Chaplin's mustache being virtually represented. Okay, everyone thought that was hilarious when Charlie Chaplin was out there. No mother, no family at all, and his co-star was from California. Also, no family. So that's what Hollywood chooses, is someone who has. Well, now it's much more fundamental. It's the George Washington. It's no sister, no little sister, and no historical American. So Charlie Sheen, his grandparents are all immigrants. So that's not it. Kurt Cobain, even, his parents are immigrants from Canada. It's trivial, but there you go. I cannot find a single person like George Washington who grew up on the accessible frontier, whose parents and grandparents were all born in America, but in a different time. GPS changed everything, one time only. And okay, you know, if you allow someone else to virtually act out, you're going to get destruction. You're going to lose. The environment's going to be wrecked by essentially by politically correct terrorists. Okay, that's exactly what's happening. Okay, and you have to have financial support for the George Washington, otherwise you'll end up with the dictator. Okay. Whoever that is, you know, in the first round, there was no prediction of the George Washington was first order statistic. Okay, there had never been GPS ever before that, and sprinklers, and that's fundamental. Okay, it changed everything, and now with the equivalent of GPS being invented is someone moving out to the frontier. So if your parents are from, and your grandparents are all born and raised in the Midwest, let's say, I don't know, Iowa or New York, so it could be west of the Mississippi, but east of the Rockies, and then they move to the left coast, you know, show me that person, okay? And I think what you're going to find is James Holmes, the Joker. Okay, you're going to find Kurt Cobain, Canadian, Jim Morrison, not entirely from California, partly from the East Coast. You're not going to find anyone who's completely educated there, whose parents and grandparents are born in the United States, east of the Rockies. Okay, I've looked far and wide. The only reason there's terrorism is because the media says we would never accept George Washington. We'll always wait for war, terrorism, and the dictator. That's what we're hoping for. Someone who's so completely crazy that we have no control. Oh, we can't do anything. We could never have a George Washington. We don't want Jesus in our hearts because he'll only take over. Okay, and so you're waiting for the terrorist, the insane person, the Hitler, and doing everything to stimulate insanity. Okay, just wrecking the environment, wrecking, throwing intelligent people into no man's land. And incidentally, Donald Trump is the ace in the hole, but they would love to get him out of that hole and into no man's land, which is what Woodrow Wilson did. Okay, he just watched it all happen. He's the president. He could choose someone the opposite of him. Woodrow Wilson has at least one big sister, maybe two, but who knows who that other one was. And instead of saying, oh, George Washington, let's send him over to the old world and realize the actual representation versus the virtual representation, which stimulates the dictator. The desperate person's doppelganger is exponentially more desperate. The dictator. Okay, this is the reality. And sort of saying, well, that's what we really want, by simply saying, never George Washington. Okay, and there's already been horrible damage done, and I want the president to sponsor me so that we can stop the damage, and make them pay for it. Okay, because they've already completely humiliated civil society.